Well, hello, friends and new friends. Welcome and welcome back. And it's so good to be here. As often happens in many of our lives, things come up, and I have had a lot of good intention to be on here more often, and that has not been possible recently. So, anyway, I look forward to more videos very soon and continuing to share with you. And I want to talk today about the energies of August. I want to talk about kind of where we're at in the cycles with the five element system and those energies. And I'm going to go into some of the Western astrology as well today for this video, or just touch on that at least briefly. But mostly we're going to be talking about where we're at in the five element season and how to balance yourself through this. And I'll have some other videos on the other energies playing out here as well. So also, if you aren't already following me on Facebook or Instagram, I highly encourage you to do that because I do short reels there and I have some, little messages and, encouraging things and information that can really help you um, in between these videos. So I will have a link below for those to find me there if you aren't already following me there, but go ahead and do that. And then as always, please like this video, please share with a friend and obviously, if this is something that helps you and if it speaks to you. So that really helps me to get the word out and help more people. And so I just want to talk about how, as we are in the month of August and we are in the middle of the month now, this is the 14th of August as I'm recording this. Uh, we are thinking, oh, we're still in summer. And depending on where you're at in the world, we are here in the Northern Hemisphere, considered usually August is still considered summertime. And in the five elements, we have actually, of course, five seasons. And so, what would that fifth season be? Well, that fifth season is actually what we refer to as late summer. And so, we have again a element that rules each of those five elements. And so, for the late summer, it is ruled by the earth element. And before I talk about that, I want to talk about us just coming out of the fire season of summer. And so actually that fire summer season is May, June, and July. And so again, that can sometimes seem different to some of us because maybe we have often we may live in a place where it's still pretty cool during the month of May, and so it may not really officially feel like summer. It may still feel very spring-like. And yeah, so I know it took me a long time to wrap my mind around this system. A lot of years I was kind of resistant to it in general, to be honest. But anyway, so whether or not you want to consider the summer or not, it's fine. You can still consider it, as a part of your summer. But this is just really looking at again the five element system and how the different elements shift. And so what happens is as we come to the end of July, we're leaving that summer fire energy behind, and the fire energy is ruled by the heart and the small intestine. And so those are yin and yang pairs, those two organs, and they have a very strong correlation. And so they really need to be in balance and to help us to move into August well. And so sometimes what happens is we just don't get enough order in our lives, and the small intestine wants to sort things out and create order. And when we don't get that order created in July, by the end of July, then we go into August and we often get sick. And so this is why a lot of people are finding themselves sick during this time. And I'll also go into other reasons for that as well as we move into the earth element talk as well here. But yeah, so of course, there's just so many interplays with these five elements, and we have a feeding cycle and we have a controlling cycle. And I'm not going to necessarily get into all of that here today. I might show you a little diagram to kind of assist me at some point here. But it's just important to keep in mind that, if you are feeling very anxious, or if you're feeling even excessively joyful, or if you have been recently, or then now maybe depressed or really, lacking joy or feeling some deep sorrow. And I don't mean for I mean, obviously, if we lost a loved one or if there was a good reason, we would of course be feeling that. But if we're kind of in a more of a funk and it's like, okay, how did I get here? And usually there's always circumstances, but sometimes it can be more exaggerated how we're feeling. So those are some of the ways that that heart imbalance can play out, and that we may see that. So anyway, I wanted to just talk about that imbalance that we may be feeling. And so, like I mentioned, we are now in the earth element season here in the month of August. And so with the earth element, it is, very much just like Mother Earth. And so it creates what we call the nutritive essence. And this is what creates and holds the chi and the blood in the body. And so this is important in feeding all of these different organs. And so especially giving that blood to the heart. And so again, kind of coming back to supporting the heart is going to be supporting the digestion. And that's why, a lot of us already know that we talk about in all of the, all the functional medicine world and all of the naturopathic world and all of the holistic health world, we now know that, it's gut healing that's the root. And, the digestive system must be working properly. And not only in the Chinese medicine system, but in Ayurvedic system, we talk about that digestive fire and how important that is. So I want to remind us today that it's going to be really important to continue to focus on building that digestive fire. And so I'm, of course, often talking with many of my clients about really creating that at the beginning of the day. And so having something warm to start your day with, even if it's some warm tea with something you're having, and we can sometimes have this tendency to want to have something like a smoothie or something cold. But again, I mean, if you can have something warm with it, then maybe that can balance it out. But if you are struggling with any kind of emotional issues and or physical issues, then and or mental issues, then most likely the cold of whatever you're having for breakfast is actually impairing that spleen's ability to provide that nutritive essence. And so the earth element, to kind of rewind, is ruled or works with the spleen and the stomach. Those are the organs that are ruled by the earth element. And so that spleen organ is super important because it's what draws in the nourishment from the food. And so we could have this amazing cold smoothie that is full of, all these berries and greens and nutritious things. But if it's super cold and we're having it first thing in the morning and we're just putting that right on our system, our spleen isn't going to be able to draw in the strength from those good nutrients because of that cold. And it's going to cause more issues, and again, not be able to allow and create that blood and chi to build properly. So I just, really encourage like that food is always our medicine, and that eating more whole foods and eating with the season right now is going to be so important, as the earth element is ruled by the flavor of sweet. And so that's that full sweet flavor. So that is looking at all of those delicious sweet things that are in season right now. So we can talk about yams, apples, pears, uh, squashes, zucchini, again, all of these things that are in season, corn, um, and so forth. So I'm sure that you can think of some more. We can, if you do well with a little bit of grains, maybe some brown rice could be a good one. Maybe it's more of a quinoa that may be better for you. But yeah, just really thinking of, again, when you're thinking of the sweet flavor, those sweet foods. So again, grapes would be a really great one for this time of year. Or anyway, you can continue to think of others that are in season, peaches and so forth. So but we want to really encourage those to, again, just support that earth element in functioning properly. And of course, just coming back to whole foods. And, we can have some dried fruit. So a little bit of dried in some of those areas could be okay. We don't want to have some that are filled with a bunch of extra sugar. And in general, again, just knowing that, yes, this earth element is ruled by the flavor of sweet. We don't want the artificial sweet. I mean, maybe a little bit of stevia could be okay, but we're really avoiding, sugar, processed sugars, and all of these fake sugars that are out there these days that, are alcohol sugars and so forth that, even, a lot of people may think are good for us. Well, they're typically not. And they typically do have a reaction on a lot of people. So we can speak more on that. If you have any questions, drop it below, or, let me know in session, or let's set up a time to talk. And yeah, so yeah, basically, we're just really wanting to encourage this healthy digestion so that we can really help house the mind, anchor the mind, which is controlled by the spleen. But again, we have to have the blood going to the heart to also anchor the mind and the spirit, so that we're not being distracted and the mind isn't wandering. And so we may have a tendency to feel some of that at this time. If you're feeling like you need a lot of sympathy, that could be an imbalance of earth element. If you are feeling just if you're worrying a lot, that is another imbalance. If your tendency is towards overthinking, rumination, these are all earth element imbalances. Let's see what else you could be. Um, yeah, even some like forgetfulness, some nervousness. Um, if you, yeah, are just feeling like, or maybe a little bit of passive aggressiveness could be another one to watch out for. So anyway, all of these ways are ways in which the things could manifest. And physically, we may have some imbalances, of course, with blood sugar that we may notice if our earth element is out of balance. We could have some weight gain. We can also have menstrual issues, any sagging muscle kind of issues, so any kind of prolapse issues that could include hemorrhoids, or yeah, hernias, and yeah, prolapse of organs at all. So let's see. And of course, then any digestive issues, of course, would come back to earth element, to the stomach and spleen. So the yang um, organ is the stomach, and it really needs to have that spleen to set up that yang's ability to then work properly to um, ripe and rotten the food, is what we call it in the Chinese medicine system. So yeah, just again, just coming back to not only those good foods that are whole foods and that are in season, but also to mindfulness and just eating properly, in the way of finding the foods that we really enjoy, but then eating it mindfully. And so not just sitting in front of a TV and watching, trying not to, be just, reading a book or distracted. I mean, if you can listen to something and you can eat at the same time, I think that's okay. I mean, eat and, of course, you can't eat at the same time, but eat and really like enjoy that food and be present with it. I think most of the time, if we're listening to something else, we're learning and we're absorbing with the mind. And so then we're not able to really, sit and be as present with that food. Now, when we're sitting with somebody else, if we're having family with a friend, or at the dinner table with family, whoever your spiritual family, whoever that may be, then that would be different. At that point, then we often, are uh, enjoying the food and the conversation at the same time. We're able to gaze lovingly at it, and as that other person is talking to us, then we can, take some mindful chewing bites. And yeah, so of course, really focusing on chewing is also very important. I think most of us need to slow down and work on chewing a little bit more. That could be another beneficial thing to help, because chewing is actually where our digestion begins. So it is really important to slow down while we're eating. And these are all just things that you can create small habits with, and that, we can get better at over time. And I know that it does take time, and just know that, um, small little bits here and there are what builds. And I help people build these habits. I can do this through the nutrition and alchemy coaching, empowerment coaching that I do, or you can come in and get the acupressure and body work, and I do also the coaching with that as well. And so we go into all of this and get the organs back into harmony. So I'll also have some information on how to get more information and book with me below as well. And so Yeah, I guess I just mentioned that I will probably be doing another video with more of the astrological energies, and so I do want to share more of that. But I will just briefly say that, you know, as I am recording this video, we are about ready to station back to from Mercury retrograde going forward. It's just been a little short Mercury retrograde, which is nice, only a couple weeks, but we do have a 2 week shadow period always before and then afterwards. And so we will continue to be in the next couple weeks into the shadow period. So it is a really good time to really think very carefully before you speak. And I really encourage this anyway. Again, I'm going to do another video on this, but just want to share that also, when a planet is about ready to station, it intensifies. And so there can be even more miscommunications, more misunderstandings, more issues with technology or mishaps or things like that, or with be careful with travel and those sorts of things. Those are all impacted. And we don't have to worry because there's also a lot of really positive things that come out of Mercury retrograde. But I think it is important to know that, first and foremost, that I think in general our culture is struggling and we all struggle with communication, and it is something that I feel very passionate about and that we all need to improve upon, and that it is something that we are healing, and it's part of the generational trauma that has been carried down that we are continuing to heal. Again, I will have more in the next video on this, but I just really want to encourage you to always pick up the phone and call somebody, or at least leave a voice note. If you are having a misunderstanding with somebody, if you can't have the conversation in person, so that way they can hear your voice, or they can or a video call, right? Would be so of course we'd want to be in person first. The next best would be a video call so we can see body language, hear intonations. The next, would be a phone call or a voice text after that. So we really want to try to avoid texting in general when we're having any frustration or issues, because otherwise we just may create more of a misunderstanding, and I've seen friendships end because of this, and it's very sad that people are often just coming from their own traumas and dealing with their own wounds. And unfortunately, sometimes it's hard for us to see that, and especially when someone's words are a little cutting and rough, and that can happen, and it can happen in a way that wasn't intended. People can intend well, and or or just being protective and hurt themselves. So anyway, very, very, this is a very good time to really cross your T's, dot your I's before you send out messages. So really look at them before you send them, whether it's a text message, whether it's an email, and also just give people the benefit of the doubt if they are struggling to communicate well with you, that it is Mercury retrograde. And so people are often doing the best they can at the time. They may have a lot on their plate and may not be doing the best job, but anyway, so again, much more to say on this, but yeah, just want to encourage you, if you are feeling sick or if a loved one is feeling sick, to know that, there is this, nutritive essence that is probably not getting transported from the spleen to the heart or to the lungs properly, and or to the liver properly because of this. And so again, we can think of the earth element as Mother Earth and how important it is to focus on digestion. And I can help support the body with the acupressure and body work. It's called aromatherapy that I do to help the body come back into balance. And even if you have a virus and you've already become sick, I can help push that out of the body as well. So I encourage you to get a hold of me and let me know how I can support you. But yeah, I hope that this has been helpful, and I appreciate your time and presence. And let me know what you learned from this. Let me drop a line below. Let me know what else you'd like to hear about. And I look forward to this next conversation and sharing real soon. So thank you again, and we'll keep it going. All right. Have a beautiful day.